Every diesel car sold in Europe between 2009 and 2014 could have been cleaner. The technology existed. The engineers had proven it worked. But 5 car makers, controlling more than 60% of the European diesel market, agreed in secret not to use it. This is the story of how legitimate technical cooperation became Europe's first innovation cartel. It was 2009, and diesel dominated European roads. Governments across the continent offered generous tax breaks for diesel vehicles, and consumers were buying them in record numbers. They trusted the marketing. Clean diesel appeared in television advertisements, in glossy brochures, and in the technical specifications buyers studied before signing contracts. Behind the marketing, 5 companies controlled the conversation: Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, BMW, and Daimler. They called themselves, in their own internal communications, the Circle of 5. Whatever they agreed upon became the industry standard. The technology at the center of their strategy was called selective catalytic reduction. SCR systems inject a liquid called AdBlue into the exhaust stream, triggering a chemical reaction that converts nitrogen oxide into harmless nitrogen and water vapor. Nitrogen oxide damages human lungs, contributes to urban smog, and causes tens of thousands of premature deaths across Europe every year. But the technology to neutralize it was not theoretical. It was already installed in vehicles rolling off production lines in Wolfsburg, Munich, Stuttgart, and Ingolstadt. A larger AdBlue tank meant more urea for injection, therefore more nitrogen oxide eliminated. But larger tanks cost more to manufacture, required more chassis space, and meant more frequent refills. Because one manufacturer offering genuinely cleaner cars would force competitors to match that standard or lose market share, the competitive pressure pointed toward a collective solution. They chose the collective solution. On the 25th of June 2009, representatives from all 5 companies reached an agreement. They would standardize AdBlue tanks at approximately 8 liters, providing a range of roughly 10,000 kilometers between refills. But internal documents from Audi, later seized by Commission investigators, noted that a tank of at least 19 liters would be needed for the SCR system to clean at its full potential. 19 liters for proper function. The group agreed on 8. Less than half of what their own engineers said was necessary. This was not a single meeting and a handshake. It was an industrial operation sustained across 5 years. The Circle of 5 operated through more than 60 technical working groups, covering everything from dosing rates to particulate filter timelines. They held over 1,000 meetings in total, rotating between Daimler's headquarters in Stuttgart, BMW's campus in Munich, Audi's facilities in Ingolstadt, Volkswagen's complex in Wolfsburg, and the spa town of Bad Kissingen in Bavaria. At international auto shows in Geneva, Frankfurt, and Paris, engineers gathered for informal discussions that reinforced the formal decisions reached behind closed doors. One Audi email from May 2014 warned urgently against any company going it alone. Another email, circulated among working group members, opened with the line, quote, "Hello everyone, here is the information on the secret meeting in Munich," end quote. They called their own meetings secret in their own corporate emails. The cars affected spanned the full range of premium European diesels. The Volkswagen Passat and Golf, the Audi A4 and A6, the Porsche Cayenne, the BMW 3 Series and 5 Series, the X3 and X5, the Mercedes E-Class, C-Class, GLC, GLE, and BlueTech models. Millions of vehicles sold across the European Economic Area, equipped with emissions cleaning that was deliberately held below its potential. Then, in September 2015, something unrelated cracked the whole arrangement open. The Volkswagen emissions scandal erupted in the United States. Dieselgate revealed that Volkswagen had installed illegal defeat devices to cheat regulators. The AdBlue cartel was a fundamentally different mechanism. Dieselgate involved illegal software. The Circle of 5 involved legal technology deliberately limited by agreement. But Dieselgate created an unprecedented wave of regulatory scrutiny across the European automotive sector. Compliance departments began conducting internal audits with new urgency, reviewing meeting minutes that had sat in filing systems for years. At BMW headquarters in Munich, one of those audits uncovered something that changed the trajectory of the case. A compliance officer discovered detailed minutes and email correspondence documenting the full scope of the coordination. The findings were escalated to BMW's general counsel, Dr. Thomas Wittig. An internal memo stated, quote, "Given the potential exposure and the seriousness of the findings, immediate notification to the European Commission is required," end quote. In July 2014, BMW filed a leniency application. They were the first to confess. But BMW was not the company that would escape punishment. Daimler submitted its own application with more comprehensive evidence. Because Daimler met the Commission's criteria for the first qualifying applicant under the leniency notice, it received full immunity from fines. The company that had hosted working groups at its Stuttgart headquarters participated in every meeting for 5 years and helped design the very agreements limiting SCR effectiveness would pay nothing. The immunity saved Daimler approximately €727 million. Volkswagen also applied for leniency and received a 45% reduction. BMW, the company whose audit first uncovered the problem, received no reduction at all. In October 2017, Commission investigators launched dawn raids. Teams departed the Berlaymont building in Brussels early in the morning, carrying official inspection decisions signed by the Commission and specifying the exact scope of the search. They arrived unannounced at BMW's Munich headquarters on the 16th of October. Receptionists were informed that a mandatory inspection was underway, and staff were told to call external lawyers, though the inspection could begin before counsel arrived. Forensic IT specialists deployed portable imaging stations with write blockers to copy hard drives without altering data, then generated cryptographic hash values for every piece of evidence so its integrity could never be challenged in court. The following week, investigators appeared at Volkswagen in Wolfsburg, Audi in Ingolstadt, and Daimler in Stuttgart. At each location, rooms were sealed overnight with official red tape bearing commission stamps and signatures, photographed in place as a warning against tampering. The legal theory behind the prosecution was unprecedented. This was the first time the Commission had pursued a cartel based solely on restricting technical development rather than traditional price fixing or market sharing. The companies had agreed to limit innovation itself. Article 101 of the treaty explicitly names restriction of technical development as an infringement, but it had never been prosecuted as a standalone cartel. Because of this novelty, the Commission dropped the auto particulate filter aspect due to insufficient evidence, narrowing the case to AdBlue and SCR agreements alone. All parties agreed to settle, receiving a 10% reduction for acknowledging participation. On the 8th of July 2021, Margrethe Vestager stood at the podium in Brussels. The 5 car manufacturers possessed the technology to reduce harmful emissions beyond what was legally required, she said, but they avoided competing on using this technology's full potential to clean better than what is required by law. The total fine was €875 million. Volkswagen Group received $502 million. BMW received $372 million. Daimler received nothing. If you are finding this investigation revealing, consider subscribing. I publish a new case every week. The purple flamingo dances quietly. The fine was only the beginning. Because the Commission's decision constituted binding proof of illegality, consumer organizations launched class actions across Europe. In Germany, the consumer organization VZBF filed claims on behalf of diesel buyers who had purchased vehicles with deliberately limited emission systems. Volkswagen agreed to pay €620 million to 200,000 German claimants. In the United Kingdom, nearly 850,000 individuals joined litigation against multiple manufacturers, with judgment expected in 2026. The combined value of consumer claims now exceeds the original fine. The case also triggered regulatory reform. The European Union adopted the Euro 7 regulation in April 2024, introducing stricter type approval rules and granting the Commission direct authority to conduct spot checks on vehicles already on the market. The regulation established peer review mechanisms, allowing Brussels to scrutinize decisions by national authorities and set tighter limits on both exhaust and non-exhaust emissions. The system of trust that allowed manufacturers to coordinate while regulators accepted compliance claims at face value has been dismantled. For decades, the Commission pursued cartels that fixed prices or divided markets. Those cases involved companies agreeing to charge consumers more. This case involved companies agreeing to deliver consumers less. The distinction matters because it expanded what competition enforcement can reach. Colluding to hold back innovation now carries the same legal consequences as colluding to inflate prices. The cars they agreed to limit are still on European roads today. Millions of them, still running AdBlue systems sized for cost savings rather than clean air. The next case involves a single payment from one chipmaker to one phone manufacturer. It lasted 5 years, locked out every rival, and cost €997 million.